Hi students, welcome to Chapter 11, Lesson 2. The topic of Lesson 2 is the median and the mode. So in Lesson 1 you learned about the mean, which is also called the average of your data. Today we're going to learn about what's the median and what's the mode in a set of data. The first thing I want you to write though, those three things, the mean, the median, and the mode, are known as measures of center. So I want you to write that first. So when you hear measures of center, it's talking about those three different things. The mean, which, as you know from Lesson 1, is also called the average. Median. And the mode. Together, those three things make up the measures of center in a set of data. So this one we've already talked about, the mean or the average. Today you're going to learn about the median, and you're going to learn about the mode. Okay? Together, those make the measures of center in a set of data. Okay, the median, definition of the median. We'll do definitions first, and then we will do some practice problems. The median in a set of data is the value in the middle of the data after sorting the data low to high. So the value in the middle of data, and this is the key word right here, after sorting your data low to high. So the very first thing you have to do in order to find the median is you have to sort the data. You have to put it in order from low to high. And we'll do some examples in just a little bit. So that's the median. The mode is the mode of your data. It's simply the value that happens most, or the value that occurs most often. And sometimes you might have more than one mode. I'm going to say the value or values that occur most often. And that is also the mode. It's also very helpful to have your data in order, because then it's easier to see what values happen most often. So those are the two new things we're going to do today, the median and the mode. Before we do the examples, your hidden treasure for this lesson is to be able to explain what the word congruent means in math. If two things are congruent, what does that mean? So the word congruent, it's spelled C-O-N-G-R-U-E-N-T. And again, it's pronounced congruent. You can look it up in your glossary, Kids Math Dictionary, but if your name gets picked and you can explain it, you are the winner of today's hidden treasure. All right, for the first example, we're going to look at the number of monkeys reported in 11 different zoos. So I'm going to write that down. The number of monkeys. This is just a way of getting a set of data. Number of monkeys at 11 zoos. So zoos were surveyed. How many monkeys do you have total at your zoo? And these were the numbers that were reported. 28, 36, 18, 25, 12, 44, 18, I think that's an 18, yes it is, 18, 42, 34, 16, and 30. So here's our data. I'll tell you right now the mistake that you're going to make the most, and when I was doing the problems in your workbook, because I do all the problems myself, I made tons of mistakes. And the mistakes that you make are not being careful about getting all the numbers, not being careful about writing them all down in order, not entering numbers carefully in your calculator. If you're slow and stay focused on attention to detail, and if you double check your work, those are ways you're going to reduce the number of mistakes. So I know I should have 11 numbers. The first thing, if I was writing down my data, is I would want to count to verify. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got 11 values. So to find, whoops, I didn't write down. We're finding the median and the mode of this data. So going back to median, the first thing I need to do is I need to take this data and I need to sort it low to high after sorting low to high. So this is where being slow and careful really is valuable. So look at all your data. You're going to find the lowest value and list that one first. So I see a 12. So that's the first number I'm going to write down, 12. I scan. Also, it's a good idea to mark off your data as you're listing it. So I'm going to mark off that 12. The next lowest, I scan all my data, is 16. So I'm going to mark off the 16. The next lowest, I scan all, I see an 18. Here's another 18, so I'm going to mark off those 18s and I'm going to list it twice. Let's see, I keep going, and the next lowest I think is 28. I almost picked 30, not being careful. 28. And, oh, look at that, I did make a mistake. It's actually 25. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So this should be 25. So 25 is the next. 28 comes after 25. 30. 34. 36. 42. And 44. So I think that is my data in order, but I'm going to count and make sure I should have 11 values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, now I'm feeling better about having my numbers. Okay, this is when you're finding the median, you want the very middle number. So a good strategy and showing your work should look like this. You should be listing your data out in order, and then you're going to knock off low and high until you work your way to the middle. That's how you get to the middlemost number. So 12 and 44. 16, I'm just knocking off the ends until I get to, there's the very middle of my data. That's the median. 28 is the median. So, the median number of monkeys, 28 is the median. That is the number that's in the very middle of our data. And The mode is the number that occurs most often. So because my numbers are in order, I can see 18 is repeated and there are no other numbers that are repeated. So the mode would look like that. The mode is 18. That's the number that occurs most often. 18 is the mode. So, big idea with median and mode again is you got to get your data in order. That's the biggest thing, is getting it in order first. So this is what your work should look like today. And again, you saw me make a mistake. You got to be slow and careful. That's the number one thing that you're going to make a mistake. You're going to miss a number. And so double check. If you've got 11 values in your data, you should have 11 values in your work. So I'm going to highlight this right here is what work should be looking like today. Okay, work should be looking like this. All right, one more example. And we're going to look at some test scores, and we're going to use the measures of center. We're going to describe test scores using the measures of center. So I'm going to write this down here. Describe test grades or test scores using, and I'm going to abbreviate measures of center. Measures of center. So I'm going to be finding the mean, the median, and the mode for this set of data. So the test scores I'm going to look at are the following: 100, 77, 80, 65, 87, 85, 86, 82, 100, 97, 95, and 77. So there is my set of data, test scores. Now we're going to find the measures of center. We're going to use the measures of center to describe our data. We're going to find the mean, the median, and the mode. So first job, I'm going to list them in order. So very carefully, I'm going to be going through these. And I see so far 65 is the lowest. So I'm going to list them in order first. 65. So I've counted 65. Scan my data, 77. Okay, so 77, I have two of them. That looks like the next lowest. 77. List it twice. And scanning, I see an 80. 80 looks like the next number in order. 82 is next. 85, 86, 87. 95, two 97s. Oh no, I read that one as a 9. So here's another mistake I made. So there's only one 97. I was misreading that one. So there is no that. 100 and 100. So again, even me having done this problem, I'm redoing it and making mistakes. Modeling, I wish it was on purpose, but it's not. Modeling how you make mistakes is so easy on this. Okay, so I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 numbers in my data. you should be doing this, counting, double counting that you've got 12 numbers in your list after you put it in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So what I just did, verifying numbers, is going to reduce the amount of mistakes you make big time. So now I'm going to do the median first, the one that's in the middle, because I've got them in order. So 65, 100, I'm just going to mark off the ends until I get to the middle. Okay, so in this set of data, I have an even amount of numbers. So I get to the middle and I've got 85 and 86. There is no one number that's right in the middle. So I'm going to put a circle around these. Okay, 85 and 86. I found the middle, but I still want to get to a single number. If you have two numbers in the very middle, what you do is you add those two numbers together and you divide by 2. Essentially, you find the average of just these two numbers. So I do 85 plus 86, and I divide that by 2 because there's two numbers there. I type that in my calculator, 85 plus 86 divided by 2, and I come up with 85.5. That is our median. It's the number that's in the very middle of our data. Okay, next I'll do the mode since they're in order, and that's makes it easy. So I'm looking for the number that occurs most often. So I see 77 appears twice, and 100 appears twice. So in this set of data, we actually have two modes. We would say that our mode is 77 and 100. So 77 and 100 are the modes. Or we can just say the mode. There's two modes, 77 and 100. That's showing the mode, and our median is 85.5. So the last measure of center we haven't done is the mean. So the mean is the sum of all this data. So again, typing that in a calculator, go slow and careful. If you add all of those numbers carefully, the total that you would get would be 1,031. And again, I highly recommend, if you have that many numbers, you add it twice. Add it all up on your calculator, get a number, do it again. If you get the same number, good. If you get a different number, add it again. So I have the total, 1,031, and there are 12 values. So I'm going to divide that by 12. This goes back to lesson 1. So I type this in my calculator, 1,031 divided by 12, and I get 85.9 if I round it to the nearest tenth. So that would be my median, or I'm sorry, mean, or average. So now I could compare test scores using the measures of center. The median, the number in the middle, is the smallest, followed by the mean. It's a little bit more at 85.9. The mode is, well, one mode is lower at 77, and one mode is higher than the median and the mean at 100. So we could use those numbers to talk about our data. And again, I'm just going to put a box around what your work should be looking like. Really big, you're following the calculator rule for today's problems. If you're typing in a calculator, showing your work means you're writing down what you're typing in your calculator. All right, that does it for median and mode and the measures of center. I'll see you soon for lesson 3.